Oh yeah. Your eyes are like rubies. Hey. What? Oh no, run! He's got the hard pupils, we're doomed! Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir David. Why are you playing Halloween games? It's November. Ow! And today I'd like to play Date at the Cemetery. Sometimes, dating in Colorado felt harder than it had any right to be. You'd searched in places no one should ever have to search. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Like speed dating with a guy who looked twice your age and still lived in his mother's basement. Or maybe it was the endless void of Tinder, where every swipe led to the same dead-end conversations, where it was clear most people only wanted one thing. You really did try, honestly, but despite all your efforts, you came up empty. That was until that night. You went to some overrated, overpriced warehouse party with bad lighting and ear-deafening music. Not exactly your scene, but your friends had practically dragged you there. Put yourself out there, they said. Meet someone new, someone different, they said. And someone different it was. You had just gone through a messy breakup, and let's face it, far too many nights spent single. You weren't exactly desperate, but it would have been nice to have someone to talk to. Someone to share a drink with, or maybe something more. Someone to play Mario Kart with. Romantically speaking, of course. And that's how you met Avon. Oh no. Though it wasn't exactly the stuff of fairy tales, not in some our eyes met across the room kind of way or love at first sight. Oh no, you met him face first, practically body slamming him in your drunken sprint to the bathroom. Turns out that one shot too many and your lifelong lightweight status didn't mix too well. Who knew? So my friends dragged me to this party, they got me drunk, and then they left me to navigate the bathroom all by myself. Some friends you are! But instead of brushing you off like any other crappy college guy would, he helped. He actually helped. Held your hair back like some knight in slightly wrinkled flannel that's seen the wash way too many times to count. Made sure you didn't pass out on the cold tile of the bathroom floor as your lunch made its ever-so-grand reappearance in the toilet. He stayed until the room stopped spinning, or at least slowed down a little. Now, normally, you don't give your number out to a random guy you've only known for the duration of a bad life choice. But after someone's literally held your hair while your dignity shot through your mouth, it would have been kind of rude not to. So here you are, in the car, the guy who helped you while you were involuntarily purging your stomach. What the fluff am I doing here? You must have been scowling because you were snapped out of your thoughts by a smooth and soft voice. What are you thinking about? You've got that far-off look, like an angry cat. Was it that obvious? He stifled a small laugh, glancing over you slowly. Well, now you look confused. Are you planning an escape route or something? Yes, opens car door and jumps out. He was always so teasing, even over text after the party. Now was no different. Oh, me? Just thinking about how we met. I think that's very cute. Meet cute. It was an odd way to meet a date, that's for sure, but you wanted to give it a chance. Ah, the party, right? You could barely remember your own name. Wait, what was it again? You have my number, you forgot my name? He smirked, clearly teasing. You narrowed your eyes, but played along anyway. What is my name? I believe it is Espoir. It means hope in French. Right, Espoir. Surprised you could remember it. Oh, you were trolling. Oh, you were making a funny. Oh, you were making a joke at my expense. I like this guy. You turned in offense, laughing in shock. Hey, first date and you're still teasing me? He chuckled and rolled his eyes, keeping one hand on the steering wheel. Putting his free hand up, he sighed in feigned defeat. Force of habit, I suppose. I'll have you know I excel at first dates. And hey, you haven't jumped out of the car yet, so that means you don't mind it. Kinda like a knight in shining armor that doubles as a court jester, he said, thinking for a moment, keeping his eyes on the road now. And now I get the honor of spending the night with you? I must be on a roll. Oh, how is this going to go terribly wrong? I'm having a good time. You rolled your eyes, but couldn't help the smile tugging at the corner of your lips. His confidence was ridiculous, borderline cheesy, but charming. The soft hum of lo-fi music played in the background, easing some of the tension in your chest. Something about Avon made it easy to breathe, made you feel safe. It's gotta be his killer eyeliner. Even from the very beginning, when most people would have just handed you napkins and walked away, he'd stuck around. He always felt genuine, even if he was practically a stranger. Say, you into lo-fi? Yeah, I especially like lo-fi of video game music. Avon smiled. He seemed to like that. Nice. Knew you had good taste. How are you on heavy metal? You chuckled. Honestly, Espoir, you'd be surprised how many people only listen to it for studying or background noise. But I don't know. I find it calming. Helps clear the mental static a bit. You get me? Yeah, I can see that. I smiled at him, considering his opinion. I get why you like it. He leaned back in his seat, red eyes half closed as the mellow beat filled the dark car, head bobbing gently. So, where exactly are you taking me? Because on the cover, it says date at the cemetery. You wouldn't happen to be taking me to the cemetery, would you? Ah, what's that face for? A slight smirk played on Avon's handsome face. You'll see. It's a surprise. A surprise? You're not about to murder me in the woods or something, are you? Avon chortled at the idea. What? No, I don't even have a weapon on me. Relax. The night breeze shifted past you as you took in your surroundings. You stared confused into the void of the unfamiliar parking lot. Wait, this is the surprise? A parking lot? It's a very nice parking lot. I gave a nervous chuckle, trying not to seem rude. Not quite. There's that teasing tone again. We're going there. Avon pointed just beyond the beyond the parking lot. There, you saw large gates and a worn stone sign that read Denver, Colorado Cemetery. Not the Denver, Colorado Cemetery! I've never been to Denver, Colorado. Never been to Colorado in the first place. Is that the cemetery? Bingo. He looked back at me with a look of pride. You like it? Now, I'm a scaredy cat. But I'm not scared of cemeteries. It's more of a disrespect thing. That feels like it would be disrespectful. You're taking me to the cemetery? On a date? What are we even gonna do? There's no table space. Don't make that face. Avon's face fell flat, smile of pride gone. What are we gonna do? Have a sandwich on a gravestone? We better not be trying to summon something. Every time that happens in a visual novel, it doesn't go right. He gave you a quick once-over and rolled his eyes. Well, I like it. It's romantic. It's fun. In a mysterious, spooky sort of way, you know? Think about it. Peaceful, quiet, no crowds, just vibes. Alone. Is he flirting? Oh God, he's flirting. Avon noticed the sense of disgust on your face. He sighed and shook his head. Just don't knock it till you try it, okay? How condescending. Well, I did just kind of judge him. You attempt to give a warm smile. Yeah, great idea. Great date idea. Just us and a bunch of dead people. Great listeners. Avon gestures you to follow. I don't want anybody's meemaw or peepaw listening in to what we're going to be doing in this cemetery. Come on. It's not as weird as it sounds. Promise. He looks so excited. Aww. You and Avon walked along the misty pavement of the parking lot, you slightly behind, shoes crunching on the gravel beneath them. As you follow along, it felt as if the path got dimmer and dimmer. The gate ahead looms, like it belongs in some sort of gothic novel. It all felt so off. but only for a moment. A small spider skitters across the toe of your shoe. Now that's the scariest thing here. You freeze, taking in a sharp breath, then continue walking, a little stiffer than before. You quickly latched onto Avon's arm without thinking. Avon stiffened in shock as he looks over at you. You okay? I saw a spider. Letting go in embarrassment, you sighed with a nervous chuckle. Hey, yeah, just didn't really expect this kind of vibe tonight. I can see that. His face softened slightly and gave you a gentle smile. Don't worry, I'll make sure you have a good time. Want to hold my hand? Yes, I most certainly do. You gently took his hand with a grateful smile. It's warm and steady, like it's guiding you. Something about that brings you comfort. There we go. His genuine smile puts you at ease. I promise not to let any spiders slip under your skin. You laughed at his morbid joke. His touch felt grounding, even if for a fleeting moment. Appreciated. We can leave that to the corpses. Despite your own joke, you shivered at the thought. So gross. You scrunched your face up in a playful disgust, your head leaning on his shoulder with a sigh. Yeah. Avon's voice trails off, as if you were daydreaming about something. Now you're not thinking about corpses full of spiders, are you? The path still feels eerie, but somehow less alone. His thumb rubs against the top of your hand as you walk. It's subtle, but comforting. You two continue to walk along the gravel path, the gate behind you fading into the dark. Your eyes travel down to his chest, catching a glimpse of his necklace. You were surprised you didn't see it before. Hey, where'd you get that necklace? Avon hesitated, tensing up at the sudden question. What? It's cool. It's metal. It's down with the devil. The devil. Throwing up the horns. Such a sudden interest. Well, it was my dad's, originally. Was your dad down with the devil? As he averts his gaze, the air suddenly feels thicker. Or is it real? Like, genuine? Avon snorted at your question. It's not Shein or anything, if that's what you mean. It's actually from a cult. What? You stopped in your tracks, taken aback by his statement. Was he in a cult? What the flufferdoodles did you get yourself into? Well, I mean, maybe it was a nice cult. You're in a cult? There's no fluffing way, right? Avon laughed at your reaction. Genuine, but now he was slightly guarded. Not in the way that said he was self-conscious, just as if he was avoiding a really awkward conversation. No, not me. Not by a long shot. He's still laughing. But my dad was. Oh. And you know, the apple doesn't fall too far. I'm not in a cult, but I am a Satanist. Oh, okay, so you believe in human rights. Oh, dang. That's kind of cool, honestly. That's kind of cool. Honestly, mysterious with a dash of daddy issues. Yes, tell me about your relationship with your father. Pulls out a couch. Avon paused, watching you for a moment, as a smile slowly crept on his face. What are you plotting? His voice was low, very amused at your response. Exactly the vibe I was going for. Wait, we're not going to do baby's first cult activities in the cemetery, are we? That's so cliché. Avon laughed and leaned in close, a content smile on his face. You get it. Most people don't. They don't always like it. Somehow you two felt closer now, not just physically. I like people who aren't afraid of things like that. It's rare, you know? Really rare. His eyes linger on you a second too long, as if you were weighing something behind them. He gave you a smile, one that almost felt too gentle. Honestly, that may be what I see in you. Why I took you out here. Let's be for real, no one would just go on some date with a stranger they met 2 days ago at a warehouse party. Oh, it's only been 2 days? But I think you see people, you know? The words feel flattering, intimate even, but there's something heavy beneath them. Really? You look at him with bright eyes. You think that about Me? You smile at his words.
Unless I'm wrong, of course.
There's that playful tone again. I guess we'll learn that together then, won't we? What exactly are we doing out here? I'm hungry. I don't want to sit on anybody's gravestone and eat my lunch. Avon turned his face away, hiding behind his fringe, though you could hear his breath hitch slightly. Deciding to change the subject, you cleared your throat. As you walk beside Avon, your eyes drift downward, drawn by the way his fingers toy with the pendant around his neck. It's a St. Peter's cross, dangling loosely from a blackened chain. He's pinching it between his thumb and index, rubbing it in slow circles, like it soothes him. Oh, is that what that's called? But it's not the necklace that's keeping your gaze this time. It's his hands. The skin around his nails is torn, raw, jagged, like he's been picking or biting at it for a while. Oh, you a nail biter. Your hands. What happened? He freezes for a half second, just long enough for you to notice. Then he exhales a small laugh, too sharp to be casual.
That.
He keeps walking, but shoves his hands into his pockets, as if he were a child caught with his hands in the cookie jar. Oh, he's self-conscious about his hands.
I bite them sometimes, when I'm stressed, or thinking too much.
His tone shifts slightly. It was quieter, distant, like the words are drifting somewhere darker than he's currently willing to show you. You nod, the path crunching under your steps, and don't press further. You want to ask what too much means, but something tells you you don't really want the answer.
What would stress a big guy like you out?
So instead, you walk beside him in silence, Avon humming softly under his breath, the pendant still swinging from his neck like a pendulum ticking down to something awful. The soft curve of the cemetery path crunched beneath your feet as the silence between your steps grew lighter. As the path faded into patchy grass, you noticed something just ahead, laid out like a dream. A blanket, snacks, and a couple of drinks, all neatly placed in a clearing between old headstones. Oh, okay. All right, this is fine. You paused in front of the admittedly romantic display. Wait, was this already here? When did he have the time for that? Avon glanced over with a crooked smile, as if caught.
Yeah, I like to be prepared.
Yeah, really prepared.
But the food was just sitting there, and all the spiders and the ants are gonna be crawling all over it.
You stared at the picnic ahead in surprise. How long did it take for him to do this? He gave you a charming smile, taking your hand and guiding you to the blanket. He sat with his legs stretched out comfortably, hands falling behind him like it was routine.
Over the years, I've gotten used to setting things up in advance. It's a habit of mine.
It's a good habit.
Sometimes I don't always get much time to plan, so when I can, I make it count.
His voice dipped lower, like he was remembering something, but he didn't elaborate, and you weren't sure if it was really your place to push. You slowly sat beside him, still eyeing the picnic-like setup. So, what is all this anyway? You nod to the blanket and the small spread of food and drinks laid out. You trying to romance me or put me in a food coma?
He knows I like to eat, so he got extra.
You inched closer to Avon, getting comfortable. Avon chuckles, getting comfortable in his position, but not pulling away.
A little bit of both, maybe. Let's see.
Avon reached out to grab a bag of chips.
We've got chips, plain and spicy, sweet and sour candy, a couple homemade pastries, sweet ones, nothing fancy.
Letting go of the item in his hand, he taps the small cooler near the center.
And water, juice, soda, and a few energy drinks if you're into that.
You made the pastries? Avon grinned.
What, you think I'm all graveyards? I can bake.
He chuckles to himself.
Badly, but it still counts.
You glance at the food again, then back to him, an appreciative smile on your lips. This is actually really thoughtful.
Like I said, I like to be prepared. You should never forget that.
Why do I have a feeling that's going to turn into something dark?
So, drinks. What's your pick?
Yeah, what would you pick? Yeah, what do you like, Pookie? He lifts a can of juice, grinning.
Juice or water. Simple. Keeps the hand steady and the mind clear. Plus, energy drinks makes my head hurt. Not exactly a fan.
Aw, you couldn't hold back the look of concern on your face. He raises an eyebrow at your expression, playfully amused.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Juice. Juice is good. Juice sounds good. You grab a can of juice and raise a brow at the label. Is this blood orange? I think I'm allergic to that. Avon lights up slightly, clearly pleased.
Of course. On theme, right? Had some extras when a friend was over at my place.
He takes his own juice can and clinks it against yours.
Cheers to sugar.
Avon takes a long sip of his own drink, and so do you. Ah, that hits the spot. Whenever I drink, really intense orange... I can drink orange juice, but, orange drinks like blood orange, it makes my throat itchy. You looked over the rest of the setup, eyeing the snacks laid out. Okay, be honest. Are you trying to be romantic or just fatten me up for a ritual sacrifice?
Shut up, me! Don't give him or his father, who is in a cult, any ideas!
Avon grins at your question, lounging back on his hands without breaking eye contact.
Can't it be both? I think that's the best kind of romance.
He waves a hand over the snacks.
All right, menu time.
I want some of them pastries. Or, yeah, what's his... What do you like, Pookie? What's your go-to? Avon pretends to think, but barely hides the answer.
Sweet stuff. Always. Sweet candy, pastries, anything like that.
Oh, you ingest a lot of sugar. He grins, tapping one of the pastry boxes.
People expect me to go for the sour or bitter stuff, but nah.
Huh, didn't take you for a sweets guy.
You'd be surprised what a guy who works with corpses craves.
You work with what now? Avon waves your question off, telling you to choose already. Gimme them pastries. Pastries? You baked? Now I have to judge you.
I will not judge you. I just burnt some cinnamon rolls yesterday. I still ate them.
Pastries? You baked? Now I have to judge you. You take one of the small, uneven pastries and raise a brow. Avon smirks, but looks a bit self-conscious.
Come on now. Be gentle. They were made during a psychotic episode or two.
Aw. Despite his slightly concerning comment, you take a bite. It's actually good. Soft, sweet, and surprisingly not a crime against humanity. It's impressive for someone who sucks at baking. Avon hums, proud of himself. As time passes, you ate snacks and spoke about various things. Sometimes it was about nothing. Sometimes it was about an actual topic. But overall, you were both enjoying yourselves in each other's company. You couldn't help but wonder, though. How do you even get in here? Aren't you worried about getting caught or something? Yeah, somebody with a shovel is going to be like, "You dadgum kids, get off, get out of, I don't know. Get out or I'll call the cops. It's not their yard, what are they going to say?" You were nervous of the idea of a security guard catching you both out here. Avon chuckles, rubbing his shoulder.
Not really. Trespassing's never been a big deal to me. Back when I was younger, some friends and I used to sneak into way worse places. Abandoned factories, rooftops, train yards.
Avon's gaze shifted to the side for a moment.
A few houses, too.
He laughed to himself as if it were just harmless nostalgia. Gulp.
We got into a bunch of other illegal crap. Still do sometimes.
You eye him with a wary look, brows raising, but he just grinned wider.
Relax. That's not why we're here tonight.
He gestures loosely to the graves around you.
I actually work here. Funeral home side of it, or morgue, depending on what sounds spookier to you. So they don't really care when I come in or out, as long as I don't tick anyone off. Dig up a grave or mess with a coffin or two.
He laughs again like it was a joke. You weren't sure it was. You tilted your head, taking that in. Most people wouldn't go near a morgue, let alone work in one, but he seems unfazed. Some people just are built for that. You work at a morgue? For how long? Avon hummed thoughtfully.
5 years. Would have started sooner, but I got caught up in some things after high school.
I love all this lore that you're slowly drip-feeding us. Avi. I'm gonna call him Avi. Avon sat upright, gazing at the full moon. The morgue doesn't bother you? Or are you like the receptionist or something? That made him actually laugh.
No, I do the full works. Embalming, cleaning, prepping, down to the nitty-gritty.
Yes, but do you learn the name of the demon and etch it onto the corpse and then burn it so that you get rid of the demon?
Death doesn't really bother me. Never has.
He looked at you, and for a second, something flickered behind his eyes.
It's all natural anyway. Plus,
he bit his lip slightly, a strange glint in his expression.
I quite like it.
You like death? He hesitated. Or your job? Answer the question, Avi! He giggled, quiet and low, leaning back on his elbows and turning his face away from yours.
Both.
Wow, so not only are you a corpse stylist, you're like a hot Grim Reaper. Hot Grim Reaper. Avon bursts into genuine laughter, falling back onto the blanket with a soft thud.
God, that's a first.
He turned his head to look at you, a warm, if slightly wicked grin still on his lips.
But, yeah, guess I am the hot ambassador of death in a way.
Ambassador of death. He giggled at the idea.
I should put that on a resume.
Yeah, you should. You should. You laughed too, though part of you still wondered if he'd actually put that on his resume. I think he should. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile, but cautious. You glance at him, watching the way he stares ahead, expression unreadable now. The blanket is spread out in the grass, the soft clink of drink bottles, the faint rustle of candy wrappers, and the hum of distant wind fills the air. Wow, all this eating has me thinking. I haven't really asked too much about you, besides work and you saving my booty cheeks from further embarrassment. Avon leans back on his hands, giving you a slow grin.
Oh yeah, common hobby of mine, but besides parties, cemeteries, and, saving drunks.
He side-eyed you for a moment, stifling a laugh.
I've actually got some surprises up my sleeve, like collecting old trinkets, exploring abandoned buildings, watching banned or illegal films. Stuff like that.
He seemed proud of his spread of hobbies, a smile stretching on his face. You seem like the grimy type, huh? There's a low hum in Avon's throat.
Actually, I really like cleaning. Like, obsessively. Back when I was still with my dad, he kinda stopped giving a crap, so I picked up around the house.
Oh.
I'd say it's a good hobby for a mortician, Just another part of the job.
Wow, polar opposite interests, huh? You breathed in mild amusement as Avon raised a brow like you'd challenged him.
What? No. I have normal hobbies too.
He shifts, turning fully towards you, the corner of his mouth pulling into a smirk.
You probably caught on that I liked lo-fi earlier, but I also mess with making candles. It's pretty fun. That and I go up to the mountains pretty often to ski or snowboard. Man, I do love it. Just the wind, speed, the crunch of the snow. It's dangerous, sure, but that's what I like about it.
All right, so he's a bit of a thrill seeker, too. You listened to him with interest, smiling as he spoke about his hobbies. Avon smiles back before averting his eyes. He clicks his tongue in thought, voice soft and unsure.
Yeah, the mountains are kind of my thing.
You tilt your head, about to respond, but Avon opens his mouth first. You cut him off. Oh, I'm sorry. He blinks, then chuckles, waving you forward to go ahead.
No, go first.
You nod slightly before speaking teasingly. So, candles. Never would have thought someone like you would be into making candles. Avon laughs, eyes flickering away with a sheepish smile.
Yeah, the doctors say it's nice to have a soothing, calming hobby.
What? He looks back at you, catching your shocked expression, then bursts into laughter.
I'm joking.
Avi, I don't think you're joking. Rolling his eyes, he continues, his tone softer now.
When I was younger, my baby sister, Arden, actually loved them. It was a nice distraction from, well, our parents constantly bickering.
His fingers tap idly on the blanket as he speaks, like he was keeping count of his thoughts.
I used to just watch her and my mom make them.
Avon's face loosened in melancholy.
Honestly, I thought it was dumb at the time. Candles? Who'd care, right?
He exhales through his nose with a nostalgic smile.
Then one night, she had to make one for school. Show and tell. Mom was working late, Dad refused to help, so there I was, in the kitchen, trying to make sure she didn't get burnt by the wax.
He shook his head quietly, lips parting only slightly before swallowing the emotion that threatened to come out. Instead, he murmured a laugh.
She's only 2 years younger than me, but I knew my parents would kill me if I let her hurt herself, so I helped, and I just kept the hobby since then.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm very interested in learning how to make candles.
You hummed in acknowledgement, and he coughed to wave off any lingering awkwardness. Though it wasn't awkward for you at all. He must have felt that way himself. You smiled fondly at his awkwardness, finding it endearing. You shifted uncomfortably, letting out a shiver and curling in slightly, hands wrapping around yourself as you huffed out a warm breath of air.
I didn't dress as warm as I thought I did.
Oh well. You laugh, small and breathy, trying to downplay the visible shiver that ran up your spine. Avon snickered quietly.
Well, there's an extra blanket.
He reaches over in front of you to grab it on the other side of the makeshift picnic and hands the soft roll of cloth to you without a word. Gently taking it, you bring the fabric to your face, inhaling the scent without thinking about it. It was nice, soft and inviting. Homey, even.
Aww.
Unrolling it, you tugged it around your shoulders slowly, cuddling into it before holding open the other end for Avon. Avon's body stiffened as he realized what you were offering.
What?
Get in here.
Okay.
Avon crawled over into the blanket, settling in close enough to feel each other's warmth. You couldn't help but let out a giggle at his flustered and awkward state.
Hi, Daisy. We're just getting a little close. Nothing unsanctioned happening here.
So, does the blanket smell nice?
You looked at him, face red with embarrassment.
Yeah. Sorry. What, I'm a blanket sniffer.
Avon chuckles.
Don't worry about it. I'm glad you like it. I try to keep everything smelling nice, you know? House, car, myself, and even blankets, I guess.
You both fall into a small fit of giggles.
Oh, this is actually really cozy.
Though some people say walking into my house is like walking into a Bath and Body Works.
He let out a giggle snort at his own joke. This was nice. It was weird that despite everything you still laughed, but the mind has an odd way of handling things. Maybe it was the blanket, or the way Avon said it. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with smelling like a candle aisle. The wind carried the soft rustle of tree branches, and the distant, quiet chirp of crickets tried to fill the silence of the cemetery. For a moment, things felt peaceful. Avon's smile tightened in playful joy.
I think that's the nicest insult I've gotten all week.
You hummed in acknowledgement.
But I'll have you know that scent is called midnight smoke and cedarwood, thank you very much.
Ooh.
Very masculine. Very mysterious.
He bursts into a quiet laugh, muffled slightly by the blanket.
Really?
Thought it was vanilla and cherry blossoms. He rolled his eyes, but the corners of his mouth rolled up into a smile.
I don't know. I guess I like the idea of comfort. It's nice when everything else isn't. Feels safe, you know?
Well, I guess that's true, and it's working. The blanket, the smell, the whole dead people picnic vibe, kinda cozy in its own way. He turned towards you, his smile softening, eyes meeting yours.
Yeah?
He paused for a moment, genuinely curious, his hand reaching out slowly, settling on the curve of your cheek.
You feel safe with me?
Avi, is there a reason why I shouldn't feel safe with you? You paused, Feeling his eyes on yours, the question lingered in the air, not heavy, just delicate. You didn't flinch. Instead, you gave a small laugh as heat rose up your neck. Tilting your head, you looked towards him with a half smile. I mean, so far you haven't pushed me into a grave, so that's promising. You weren't sure if you fully believed yourself, but better safe than sorry. Avon let out a low chuckle, shaking his head at your joke.
Such high praise.
What can I say? My standards are dangerously low. Avon's eyes glanced off to the side, a smirk pulling at his lips.
Well, you did give me your number after throwing up.
Hey, it was out of the kindness of my heart, plus probably the closest thing to a fairy tale in this city.
Or nightmare.
You wondered what he meant by that, but decided not to push and brushed it off with a laugh. Avi? Had one too many of those to count, but seriously, this place is kind of weirdly pretty at night. I didn't think I'd ever say that about a cemetery. Avon sat up for a moment to properly lay on his side and face you.
Yeah, it's quiet, peaceful. Plus, no one ever complains about the music or other sounds.
You laughed, pushing his shoulder. Ew! Calming down, you sighed. So this is your idea of a romantic evening, huh? It's actually pretty romantic. I'm not gonna do it, but it's pretty romantic. Smirking, he nodded.
Dead silence, a cozy blanket, and probably a ghost or two. Classic.
You shook your head, laughing softly at his ghost comment. Stupid. The shift in tone was welcome, like slipping back into a familiar rhythm, and for now, neither of you dug any deeper. The two of you sat in the stillness, your shoulder nearly brushing Avon's.
So, tell me something. What do you do when you're not judging people's candle scent choices and getting dragged to graveyards by questionable men?
You smirked, pulling the blanket tighter like it helped you think. You mean besides silently questioning my life choices? Avon grinned with a chuckle, leaning onto you.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I've got hobbies, sort of. I read, sometimes, draw a little, exploring here and there, spiral emotionally on the weekends, the usual. Avon laughed, looking up at the sky.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget those.
You both shared a snicker before falling into a comfortable silence. So, do you like Colorado? Avon blinks as if the question caught him off guard. Then he lets out a breath and chuckles.
That's a sudden shift.
Yeah, well, not everything has to be about death and trauma, right? He tilts his head, considering you for a moment. Then his expression softens, just a bit.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like it. The cold's a pain, but the mountains make up for it.
Have you always lived here? Avon shook his head.
Nah, I was actually born in Mexico.
Mexico. Really? He hummed in confirmation.
Near Mexico City. My mom moved up here when I was about 4. Said the air was cleaner.
He rolled his eyes at that, clearly quoting.
Not sure if she meant that metaphorically or literally, but here we are.
You nod slowly, taking that in. Do you remember anything from back there?
Bits and pieces. The language stuck more than the place, though. I barely use it now.
If you call me an adorable nickname in Spanish, sir, I will not be able to handle it. There's a moment of silence again, but this one feels easier, less like a pressure and more like a shared pause. Avon takes a sip of his drink before speaking.
What about you, Espoir? Born and raised, or did you crawl out of some haunted crypt nearby?
Wouldn't you like to know, grave boy?
What's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Where are your parents? If anybody remembers that meme. Avon nearly spits his spit up. That's a good one. Avon nearly spits up his drink and laughs, amused.
Did you just quote a meme?
They don't call me the meme lady for nothing. Nobody calls me that. He snickers.
But man, grave boy? Cute. I'm flattered.
You glance at him, and his eyes are already on you. Mischief there. But something else, too. Something searching.
Kid's sketchy.
Strange, isn't it?
What is?
how nice it is talking with you, despite not really knowing each other."
You nodded in agreement. He was opening up, but so were you. It was nice. He hummed in thought.
"Are you normal?"
I don't think anyone is, really.
"Yeah, just gotta look hard enough."
Avon's eyes glanced over you, giving you an expectant look as his eyebrows raised ever so slightly. But then he looked away, foot tapping in thought.
"I mean, I know I'm not."
Avon giggles for a moment, softer this time.
"I fully get people pretending they are. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't. Just wish I didn't have to. It can be tiring."
He speaks of normalcy like it's a bitter word on his tongue. Yeah, normal is overrated anyways. Yeah, normal is overrated anyways, dude. Avon raises an eyebrow, intrigued. His grin is crooked, too pleased.
"You know, I think you're right."
I kinda think people try too hard to be normal, to put on a mask, but I like being myself. Took me 30 years, but I'm doing it. Your words brought warmth to his chest as he relaxed.
"Yeah, me too."
Avon thought for a moment.
"I was thinking, and I find it surprising still. You still here, talking to me, even listening. But I think I get it now."
He smiles appreciatively. You two sat in silence for a moment, watching as the gray clouds passed by, the wind of Colorado passing you by. I was thinking about the whole thing with your family, and I can't help but be a little jealous. Avon looked at you in concern, his eyebrows raising in shock for a moment. You quickly realized your own words and stammered to clarify. Oh, whoa, no, I mean, like, you and your sister. My bad. Avon nodded with a small and thought for a moment.
"Well, do you have any siblings?"
You waved off the idea. Oh, no, but it would be fun if I did. Avon chuckled.
"Yeah."
You lay beside him, eyes drifting more to the inverted cross pendant resting on his chest. You sure you're not just looking at his chest? The St. Peter's cross glints faintly under the moonlight. You hesitate, then speak softly. You've talked about your dad a little, but not much about your mom, or your family in general, besides the candle stuff. Avon's gaze doesn't leave the sky. His thumb instinctively moves to the pendant, pressing it lightly.
"My dad? You already know. Cult stuff, anger, the whole cocktail. My mom wasn't really around, not fully."
Avon huffed through his nose at the memory.
"She had this affair with a man. Not like some midlife crisis either. It was long, ongoing. My dad knew. She never left him, though. Eventually she did. Not legally, of course. They're still married on paper. Isn't that something? Either desperate to escape my father or desperately in love. I never knew. Still don't. At the time, I was too young to really understand."
Shaking his head, he continued as you listened with soft eyes.
"She did eventually have a kid, though, when I was about 2, right before we moved here. Things were fine, and I didn't suspect a thing. Too young, too. Then my dad got more violent, angry, drunk, abusive."
He chuckles, humorless.
"I tried so hard to make her happy again. I would stay up all night doing my homework, studying, getting the best grades. She always stressed the importance of it. Would say things like, 'Don't worry about mommy, Habibi.
Habibi, oh.
Don't worry about mommy, Habibi. Just focus on your studies and I'll be fine.'"
Avon laughed sadly.
I believed her. Thought that even when she was getting the lights knocked out of her, my grades of all things would fix it. Man, I was naive.
Oh. Avon sighed as you listened.
"My sister, half-sister? Whatever. Mom took Arden and ran when I was around 10. Left me with my dad like I was part of the problem. Or just too much effort to pack up. Can you believe the guy actually moved up here too?"
Avon rolled his eyes at the thought.
"She'd check in sometimes, bring groceries, see how I was doing, or when I got in trouble. But my dad barely cooked. When I was about 14, she hardly came around anymore. More like once every other month. Dad didn't give a crap either. Probably too drunk to. Sometimes just too sadistic to." I went hungry a lot, ate spoiled or raw food until I finally taught myself how to cook. Money wasn't the issue. It's not like we were broke. They just stopped caring. My dad raised me to be detached, I guess. Like emotions were a weakness. He wanted me to be just like him, occasionally put his hands on me and talk down to me like I was scum. Probably the worst thing he could have done. He never really saw how much damage that crap caused, but watching him beat my mom? Avon spaced out, as if dissociating. Yeah, that left a scar big enough on its own.
You didn't say anything at first, just let the silence settle between you. Avon stared ahead, eyes unfocused, jaw clenched, but not angry, just distant, lost in memory. The wind moved through the cemetery trees again, brushing through branches and stone like the dead were listening. You spoke quietly. You okay? He blinked like he'd forgotten you were there, head turning slightly towards you, then away.
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you need a hug? I will give you a hug. He let out a quick breath, shaking his head lightly, as if trying to snap himself back, pulling the blanket that was wrapped between you both closer into his body.
Crap, sorry, Espoir. That probably got a lot deeper than you expected, huh?
He smiled, trying to lighten the mood, but it was more like a mask than anything. It's okay. You kept your tone steady as you smiled. I don't mind. For a moment, his shoulders relaxed. Not much, but it was enough. So, what about your sister, Arden? Avon glanced at you, brow furrowing just a little.
My sister. We're not that close anymore.
Oh, really? Avon hesitated for a moment, eyes drifting away from you again, looking at an old and cracked headstone.
It's not because I don't want to be. It's probably just better this way.
His thumb rubbed absent-mindedly into the blanket.
We text a lot, though. Talk here and there. Send memes, pretend things are normal.
He gave a small, hollow chuckle. Anything but that, huh?
Yep. I think I just wish we'd had a real childhood. Like one of those cliché ones with bike rides and birthday parties and, I don't know, warm kitchens or something. Sort of like the Hallmark movies. You don't want a life like a Hallmark movie.
He shook his head gently with a scoff, like he should push the image away before it got too vivid.
She used to visit when I was younger, after she and Mom left. Sometimes she'd stay a few nights, sometimes a few weeks. I used to count the days until she'd come back.
I mean, yeah, she's your sister. His voice got more distant now, as he swallowed thickly.
I got really attached. Mentally, I mean. Probably more than I should have.
He seemed to struggle to look at you after that, staring down into his hands.
Anyway, we hang out now and then, grab food, walk around. It's good, just not the way I imagined it when I was a kid.
He exhaled slowly.
Back then, I thought when I got older, we'd just fix it all somehow.
Well, do you have any friends?
Ouch, how mean.
You laughed, giving him an apologetic smile.
But, yeah, I do, though I'm not sure if you could call all of them friends.
Do you have any close friends? Tell me about your close friends.
I've got a little circle.
Is it a cult?
Not many people know about them. Not really. Just a handful of friends, if you could call them that. They're the ones I can actually be myself around. No masks, no filters, no judgment. That crap's rare. Some of them are worse than me, honestly, in different ways. Sick, twisted people. The kind of people who should have been locked away years ago, if the world gave a crap. We've all done things no one should talk about out loud. Stuff that should have landed us behind bars or 6 feet under. But it didn't. It never does. And when I'm with them, I feel unchained. Like the violence in my chest finally has somewhere to go. It excites me. Keeps me sharp. Alive.
Avi, I'm starting to fear for my life here.
But also weirdly accepted.
He laughed, not wanting to let off more than necessary.
I don't talk about them too much, so maybe another day.
Yeah, I don't think I should be I don't think I should be a witness, accomplice, or an informant of anything that you and those friends do.
But I will say this. I introduced Xander to them once. Thought maybe, just maybe he'd fit in. That was optimistic. They scared him. Especially after the cat.
What cat? You looked at him in curiosity. A cat?
Yeah, we killed a cat. Right in front of him.
What the flufferdoodles? Avon jumped to defend himself.
A mistake, really.
Avon looked to the side as if he was hiding something.
Xander wanted nothing to do with them after that. Avoided me for weeks. Wes, though? West was easier. He's wired for adrenaline. Doesn't even need a reason. If there's a rush, he's in. Turusk hated that. Always tried to keep him out of our mess. But when Turusk wasn't looking, West tagged along just fine. But none of them. None. Compared to her. Renee. Met her on Twitter, of all places. One of those weird, grimy, late-night communities. Dark concept art, gore, the darkest, freakiest crap you could find. And she got me. She's not like the rest. I don't know what she is exactly, but I cherish her. That's not a word I use lightly.
Aw, what wonderful friends.
Avon hummed, a soft, genuine smile on his face.
Maybe I shouldn't have started with close friends. What about high school friends?
Tell me about your high school friends. High school friends? He thought for a moment, gathering his thoughts. Well, I've actually known Turusk and West since middle school. We weren't the best kids. Definitely not saints. Not even close. We used to mess with this kid, Xander. Actually, he used to be scrawny. Quiet too. Too nerdy for his own good. Easy target. Kinda looked like a kicked puppy most of the time. I think we just wanted to see if he'd snap. He never really did.
Were you guys kind of weird bullies?
Avon laughed, as if remembering a fond memory. There was this one time, up on the school rooftop. It was my idea, obviously. I thought it'd be funny. Give him a little push, you know? A shove. Dumb move, but we were kids. He went right over the edge. Broke a bunch of crap, his arm, his ribs, maybe his pride too. Still breathing though, so not a big deal in the long run, right?
Yeah, you were definitely a weird bully. There's nothing worse than a weird bully.
If you're gonna hurt me. Don't have me thinking about this 10 years later in the therapist's office.
You stared in shock.
What?
Avon looked at you, right in the eye, but he quickly moved on instead of explaining himself. He simply laughed it off. Anyway, high school came around and somehow we ended up as friends with him. I suggested it, of course. Said it'd be good to keep him close. At that point, he fit in all right. After a bit of rewiring...
Rewiring?
Xander had been changed into something harder, more useful, easier to laugh with, and he had potential.
You wondered what he meant by potential.
We all started hanging out more, studying, crashing at each other's places. I always got the best grades. Turusk was all about football, lifting and yelling about grit. It was either that or superheroes. West was a sugar bomb with legs, adrenaline-driven, jittery hands, big dumb heart, always down to try anything if you framed it right. I found it funny, took advantage of that more than once. There was this night at my house. West dropped a cup, plastic, not even glass. My dad lost his poop, slapped him so hard the wall shook. Poor West looked like he'd seen God.
Your brows furrowed in concern. What the heck? What happened?
I laughed. What else could you do? Turusk didn't, though. From then on, he'd bring juice boxes over like West was some toddler. Thought that was sweet, in a sad kind of way. Not that it mattered. They stopped staying overnight, not too long after that.
You guys stayed friends?
Well, college split us up, kind of. Not really. I switched majors, was gonna be a nurse, but that got boring. Now I'm in cybersecurity. Makes more sense, right? I like breaking into things, so it felt the right thing to do. Turusk's still playing football, drinking his weight in cheap beer, studying something with dead frogs and scalpels, biology studying frat bro. West, he's doing journalism, wants to tell stories. Kinda funny considering how many of ours he'll never, ever touch in 1,000 years. He knows when to keep his mouth shut, usually. I'm getting my master's now, though. Still top of the class. Still ahead of the game. Xander? Still following along, though we're hardly in contact like we used to be in high school.
Avon thinks as a flicker of betrayal crosses his face. Acquaintances? Tell me about your acquaintances. He's divulging a lot of information. He's divulging a lot of lore, and we've barely said anything. Avon giggles as if someone already popped up into his head. This girl, Calbut. Calbut? This girl Calbut and I go way back. High school. She used to hang out with Xander, actually. I think they were lab partners or something in middle school. Funny, right? She hated me. Still kind of does. Said I gave her a bad feeling the first time I spoke to her. I told her that was just first time meeting jitters. We weren't friends. Not back then. But soon enough, we both needed cash. Her mom was sick. Really sick. She didn't talk about it much, but it hung on her like a weight. Me, I had my own mess to deal with. You know, angry dad, mom bailed, bills stacking up like bones. We both needed a way out. So we made one. Started small. Contracts off the dark net. Nothing huge, just hacking jobs. Some light blackmail, data dumps. We were good together. He raised an eyebrow. He rolled his eyes and smirked.
Not in a romantic way, calm down. Just efficient. She knew how to code, how to keep her mouth shut. I respected that. I pitched the organ trade once, just casually. She didn't like that too much. Can't blame her, I guess. She's got lines. Me? Mine's a bit blurrier. Instead, we focused on trackers, GPS mods, burner rigs, custom bugs, stuff you stick on a car or a person when you want to know everything. They sold like crazy. Black market, private contracts, some guy in Russia who never gave a name. We made a killing. She's sharp, no nonsense, and way too grounded to fall into the chaos like the others did. Still thinks I'm dangerous. She's right, of course. But she keeps answering when I call, and in this line of work, that's all that matters.
Avon sighed thoughtfully. What about your childhood friends?
Xander. I met Xander when I was 4, fresh off the move to Colorado. We were kids, recess friends. He'd followed me around the playground like some sad little duck, all big eyes and scraped knees. At first I didn't mind it. He was quiet, easy, but kids grow, and I started noticing things. How soft he was, how easy it'd be to chip away at him, so I did.
You got the sense that there was more to it than he wasn't letting off for some reason.
I'd shove him during dodgeball, say he cried too easily, pull his hoodie down in front of other kids. He flinched like clockwork. Eventually I'd corner him after class, whisper things that stuck in his head for hours. No one likes you, you're just convenient, that kind of thing.
All right, get out. I've heard enough. Get out. Get out. This romance is over. Get out. Isn't that a bit much?
Maybe. I was sharpening him, doing him a favor. I'd let him sit with us one day, ignore him the next, toss him a compliment after ripping him apart. Over time, he started hanging onto every word I said. That's when I knew I had him. By high school, junior year, we weren't just friends. We were something else.
This sounds like a gosh darn Straight and Ren relationship.
We do things that make your skin crawl. Break-ins, vandalism, setups. Sometimes it was for fun. Sometimes it was for a little extra cash. Sometimes it was just to see how far we'd go. How far he'd go. And Xander, he hesitated, but he never really said no.
Avon's face flickered with something wicked.
Not when it mattered anyways. We got close. Real close.
Where is Xander now? Is he in an insane asylum? Your face scrunched in confusion. What do you mean?
You know, the kind of close people notice but don't question. Well, West did. Rambled about it all the time to Tursk, our friends, but most just whisper about it. They'd never question anything, and if they did, they certainly didn't say anything. I remember laughing once, thinking how no one would ever believe what we'd really done together, how deep it all went. But that crap caught up to me. After high school, I got into some mess. Jail time. Nothing permanent, but enough. When I got out, Xander was gone. Blocked my number. Changed phones. Vanished like I'd never been a part of his life. That might have been the smartest thing he's ever done.
Avon's grip on the blanket tightened between his fingers, nails digging back into his palms. Avi, this is like that meme picture of a person riding a bike and taking a stick and putting that stick into the wheel and falling and hurting their knee and then blaming somebody else for falling.
It stung. Bad. Not because I missed him, but because I made him.
You blinked once, then twice, trying to evaluate his words properly.
And he had the nerve to pretend like I never existed.
You looked in shock, jumping back for a moment. Avon sighed and muttered a sorry.
I was ticked. Hurt, yeah, sure, but mostly angry. I let it go eventually, got into college, started over, kind of. Then I saw him again on campus.
Run, Xander, I know this happened in the past, but run!
He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Maybe he had. I didn't rush it, just gave him space, time, and when you know it, slowly he came back around.
Or maybe he could have just left him alone.
Started messaging, laughing again, letting the walls drop, same old patterns, same little ticks.
Avon laughed. Well, I guess you do have friends if you call those friends. You're not sure what to say at first, his words hanging in the air, tense and uneasy. Wow, you really do have friends.
You know, it was all cool and good, but after that, I don't think this could be the same anymore.
I hope to never ever meet any of them. You laughed nervously. I really want to say, what the heck is wrong with you? But then I'm forgetting what game I'm playing. Man, that was intense. You really don't hold back, huh?
Yeah, he really doesn't.
You leaned in, eyes glassed with morbid curiosity. Those friends of yours sounds like the kind of people who actually live. I mean, most people spend their lives pretending they don't have urges. It's morbidly inspiring.
Morbidly inspiring, huh?
Avon laughs. Yeah, but like, you? I mean, it's messed up. More than messed up. But you intrigue me. You're like a test subject that escaped the lab. You're fascinated, tone more analytical now. Your eyes narrow, taking him in. You talk about your friends like, I don't know, like they're monsters that lurk in the dark, kind of, and you seem to like that. I almost want to pick your brain apart, you know, see what makes you tick. Avon's eyes flicker to yours.
Oh, well, if you stick around long enough, you might just get to. Can't say you'll like what you see, though.
I'm already scared. I already want to go home.
Avon chuckled. As the breeze picked up, you shivered slightly. Avon glanced at you and sighed. Rolling his neck, he looked back at you.
What about you, Espoir? How's your family and friends?
He says it like it's casual, but his eyes linger like he's actually listening for something deeper than just small talk. I got lucky. Both are good. Avon laughed, but it was tight and forced.
Wow, Espoir. Perfect family, perfect friends.
Well, not perfect, but good. He shook his head, still smiling.
Must have had it real easy, huh?
You open your mouth to respond, but he cuts in before you can.
Sorry. It's just wild hearing someone say that and not be joking.
He lets out a short laugh.
You don't really know what awful is, then. Lucky you.
Laughing slightly to ease the tension, you decide to move the topic to something more light. You both sat on the edge of the blanket, your drink settled beside you. Avon had been talking for a while, drifting from the subject of classes into random tangents about life. So you're 25, right? Are you still in school?
Yeah, I study at Denver University, working towards my master's now.
Any good?
Yeah, school's fine, I guess. You?
Nice. I actually go to a community college at the moment. Saves money. How's the university?
It's cool. Lots to do. But sometimes I just ditch and go check out abandoned places. Or drive around with friends. Clears my head.
You laugh lightly. Which one do you actually enjoy more?
Avon smirked. Both, actually. Man's gotta have hobbies other than death and whatever other illegal crap.
Please don't tell me about this illegal crap and make me an accomplice. Your smile faltered a bit at the casual way he said it. Avon's eyes flickered to you. You could tell you weren't entirely comfortable with the joke. He then sighed and leaned back, flashing a quick smile. My bad. You scared me. His voice was teasing as usual, but softer now. You want to hear some poems? He raised a brow. Oh, poems? Reading poems in a cemetery.
Yeah, I've got a bunch saved.
Avon hummed, sitting up and already unlocking his phone. Aw.
Renee's actually heard some of these before.
You nodded and smiled. Sure then. He scrolled for what he was searching for and began reading. The first one was raw, almost uncomfortably so, about being a desperate child who always felt like an intruder in his own home. Avon searched your face for your reaction. Where's the sad? Smiled in interest. The second was darker. It was about teenage years, adrenaline-filled, defiance-ridden, and drenched in trouble. It was full of the excitement only committing a crime would give. Avon searched your face for your reaction. Smiling politely. Or smiling in interest. The third and last one felt like it was about someone older. It held the same trouble as the last, perhaps even worse, but it was heavy and reflective. Avon searched your face. Aw, well, I guess that's what a date is for, like seeing if your partner can match your energy. That's very interesting. When he finished the last line, his voice lingered in the air for a moment before he spoke again.
I wanted to be a good person once. Maybe I was, but it was so long ago I'm not sure anymore. Guess that's what crappy parents and no internet safety does to you.
You sat there and thought, and that's when you noticed the soft patter around you. It had started to rain, the thick leaves above your heads shielding most of it.
At least we're under a good tree,
he muttered as you two watched the droplets fall just past the edge of the blanket. Silence hung between you until you nudged him. Keep talking. He didn't look at you at first, but then his eyes scraped slowly to their corner, glancing over at you.
You ever want to disappear?
You stared in momentary shock. Now this is the old Espoir talking, but I mean, kinda, yeah. Things get hard sometimes. Sorry, that was probably a dark answer. But now you will be smothered with all my talk of hope and moving forward. Avon listened intently. Sorry, that was probably a dark answer. Avon smiled at your honest answer. It was weird, being that vulnerable, but it was like it just came out without a second thought. But it wasn't like you could just shove the words back in your mouth out of embarrassment, though you wish you could.
No need to apologize for such a real answer. It's honest, vulnerable. I like that in people.
Avon placed his hand on yours with a soft expression.
If it were up to me, I'd make sure things were never hard for you again.
I don't know, being your friend seems like every day would be hard. His smile tightened like he was thinking more, wanting to say more, but the words never came out. You wish you knew what he was thinking, his true intentions. The rain that splattered around you grew heavy, thunder crackling angry in the distance. The trees that once saved you from getting your clothing soaked now did little to help filter out the rain, the blanket around you both also soaking. Oh my gosh, I'm all wet.
Oh man, I didn't think it would rain.
You stood up quickly, trying to block your face from the rain. Avon looked around quickly and grabbed your arm.
Come on.
Is the rain a paid actor? He swiftly pulled you underneath a stone henge that led into what seemed to be a mausoleum. I don't like the direction that this date is going. You both leaned your backs against the stone wall, catching your breath. After a few moments, you turned to look at each other. You both couldn't help but laugh at the situation. Thanks. Quick thinking there.
Yeah, wouldn't want my, date to get wet, would I?
Wringing out his hair, he took it out of his ponytail and muttered to himself. He shook his hair out and massaged his scalp, allowing his locks to fall along his shoulders, letting out a content hum. Ooh.
Much better.
Oh no. Oh dear. Oh, he's even hotter with his hair down. Gulp. He smiled at you, playfully teasing you.
You're shivering.
Yeah, I guess a blanket can't do much when it's wet, can it? You laughed, pulling your arms closer into your body.
If you want, I can hold on to you. We could keep each other warm, just till the rain calms down enough to walk to the car.
Hold me? You suddenly feel warm already. Avon let a guffaw out at your flustered face. How dare you, sir? How dare you guffaw at me?
Yeah, hold you. Come here. Don't make it awkward. I'm gonna make it so awkward.
Avon pulled you closer into his chest. He was warm, and his cologne brought a sense of comfort, same as the blanket did. It almost made you relax against your will, keeping you inhaling and steady. You didn't entirely notice it before, but despite his frame, he seemed well built. His heartbeat, despite everything, was steady. You looked up at him as he smiled down at you.
Better?
Quickly, you turned your head away bashfully. Yeah, actually, a lot warmer now. Your gaze made its way back towards him. The way his wet strands of hair clung to his neck and curtained around his face made you blush. Getting a closer look, you locked eyes onto his. They almost made you forget where you were for a moment. The way the red rings pulsed ever so slightly. It was hard not to get lost in such unique irises. Oh yeah. Your eyes are like rubies.
Hey.
What? You fell over your words, mouth suddenly dry.
Something caught your eye? Or is something on my face, Dove?
His voice was soft and sultry, slipping into your ears like silk. What? Oh, wait. Dove? How dare you give me a cute nickname? Avon chuckled at your confused face.
Dove. Like a morning dove.
Ah, I see. Seems so dark.
To most.
It's sweet in its own way, I guess. Avon brought his hand to your face and wiped away a strand of hair that clung to it.
Your cheeks are so warm. You like that name, Dove?
What? No, I did, but that's not why. It's just that we're super close. Avon tilted his eyebrows slightly.
Not used to it? Dove?
Stop, now you're just doing it to be silly. You didn't say anything, and he let out a sigh, often thought, letting his hand find its way back to your waist. He simply stared off into the rain and back at you. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Gulp. When he looked back at you, there seemed to be more rings in his eyes, much more than before. If those pupils turn into little hearts, I'm heading for the hills. They were still steady, however, so maybe you were imagining things. A wide smile sat on his face.
You know, Espoir, I really enjoyed spending time with you tonight.
So did I, even though you freaked me out a little bit. Avon giggled and sighed, looking at you with something like relief.
You just really seemed to listen, and I was happy to hear about your life as well, you know? I don't get to open up much without being judged. I like that about you, Espoir. You don't judge. You listen. Even if it was a lot for a first date.
That's an understatement. I should be calling the police on you. You laughed along with him as he pulled you in closer. I didn't mind. It's a breath of fresh air, kind of. And you're a pretty interesting person. It was great hearing your story, even if it's a bit dark and heavy.
I'm glad you think so.
You two stared into each other's eyes, his grip around your waist tightening slightly. Not saying a word, you just focused on the other, faces an inch apart. Oh, are we gonna kiss? You didn't know what made you gravitate towards him. Maybe it was the mystery, or maybe you just liked standing so close to something dangerous. Your heartbeat raced. You didn't understand why, but the feeling was there. He must have caught on to your thoughts because, even though you weren't expecting it, it was what you wanted. Deep down, even if you tried to deny it, he seemed to know.
Kiss.
He gently pulled you in, making your heart pound so loud you were sure he could hear it. Then all at once, he caught your mouth in his, reckless and trembling. Your eyes shot open in shock. At first, the kiss was gentle and soft, like a first crush, innocent even. You melted into it, closing your eyes and letting it continue, the feeling devouring you whole. But it shifted. It grew hungry. His lips crashed harder against yours, pressing you back against the cold stone. Your lips parted, letting him in. His trembling hand slid up to your jaw, pulling you in deeper. Espoir. Your name left his lips in a gasp, kiss becoming messy and frantic, bordering desperation and near obsession. His heated breath brushed roughly against your skin as the kiss deepened with his hunger, making your breath catch. It was feverish, the way his teeth bit your lips, demanding further entrance. It was as if he wanted to eat you alive. Are we gonna go down this path? When he pulled away, he was breathing hard, a shaking breath escaping him. The rings in his eyes pulsed rapidly, bright in the dim light. Oh no, run! He's got the hard pupils, we're doomed! You caught your breath as he stared at your face. Espoir, I really like you.
I really like you too, Avon.
Avon's face darkened, the smile widened in a way that didn't settle right in your chest.
Yeah?
You nodded slowly, still drunk off the heated kiss.
I'd like to keep you, Espoir, to myself, forever. You wouldn't have to worry about a thing anymore. I take care of you, and you wouldn't even have to lift a single finger, ever.
A hitch of his breath passed his throat, giddy but real.
The world doesn't need you. It doesn't deserve you.
Heat rose to your face at his words.
Keep me? Forever? like date?
No.
Confusion washed over you.
Didn't he just confess? No, but didn't you just say you liked me?
I did say that, didn't I? That's why I'm so sorry for this, Dove. I'm just simply never letting you go.
You tried to ask another question, but the sudden sharp pain in your back caused you to gasp for air, making your legs freeze and paralyze.
Bro, are you serious right now, bro?
You looked below you, blood pooling directly behind your feet.
Ah! Wait, you're not gonna taxidermy me, are you? Aw, man!
Huffing and clinging reflexively onto the man in front of you, Avon pushed his long switchblade deeper into your spine and into your body.
My spine!
Thousands of questions flooded your mind as shock and fear suddenly filled your senses. You tried to scream, but as Avon pulled his blade out, blood filled your throat, choking you. Clutching desperately onto your chest, you staggered and nearly fell before Avon caught you.
Shh! You're already making such a mess, my dove.
Your eyes locked with his, focusing on his handsome face as you gripped onto your last breaths of life. His eyes pulsed rapidly at your desperation, giving him a rush of adrenaline and overwhelming love. Avon unlocked your tight hands from his shirt and held them lovingly, smiling as the life slowly drained from your eyes. He was smiling. Tears well up as unconsciousness threatens to take you. His breath quickened as he held you, thumb wiping your tears away.
You're right. I did say I liked you, but no, I feel a lot more than that. I love you, Espoir.
He grinned, bringing your now heavy, lolling head to his, placing a single kiss on your lips. This time he didn't close his eyes. His eyes burned into yours the whole time as your life slowly slipped away and you were nothing more than an empty husk.
Rude. Absolutely disrespectful.
Pulling away, he allowed your body to drop to the ground and wiped off his lips. Looking round the entry of the mausoleum, he sighed heavily.
Man, I have to clean this.
Well, shoot?
A week had passed now, and Avon had successfully gotten rid of all the evidence connected to your death. It was part of his profession, after all. What kind of criminal would he be otherwise?
You see, I told you we should have got up and left when he mentioned the cat.
He got rid of everything, but not of you.
Did he taxidermy me?
No, he kept you. And he planned to for as long as possible. That is what he promised, right?
Oh, wait, we still going? We're still going?
He kept your body cold, slowing the decaying process at the morgue, the same morgue connected to the cemetery you died at. You were an amazing listener, and you just got him. One of the many things that made him like you so much. But with that, you easily let your guard down.
Oh no, he's in his work gear.
He liked that. He liked easy targets like you.
I'm just a people pleaser.
He spoke to you at times, told you about his day, ranted about co-workers, and practiced his studies, all between him completing his assigned work with autopsies and embalmings through his day-to-day. There were only 2 cameras throughout the entire building, one at the front and another where money was held. Awful security. Neither of which he passed through during his day-to-day, and given his time there, no one really questioned the presence of another body or two. Avon sighed as he glanced over at your body on the autopsy table. He dressed you nicely and kept you looking well, taking care of you, just as he said he would, just like a doll.
Oh man, not again.
Taking off his gloves, he hauled your rigid body against the wall and laid his arms along the metal table.
Are you excited for tonight, Espoir?
Of course you couldn't respond.
You were dead.
We're going to celebrate.
He giggled and held your hand, massaging the stiff limb from its cold state.
I decided to take you for dinner. There's a small restaurant I rented out in the outskirts of town. Don't worry about any pesky cameras. They won't find you.
With a gentle kiss to your hand, he grinned to himself.
If they do, which they won't, you'll already be cremated and food for fish at the bottom of the lake,
Rude. He giggled to himself.
Imagine that, looking for a pile of ashes.
He stared into your closed eyes and sighed, letting go of the cold limb.
Don't look at me like that. It's not happening anytime soon.
Avon couldn't help but lean in, bringing his fingers to lift and close your eyelids.
Dolly.
He closed in and swept your eyes down once more with a single finger.
Dolly.
Avon couldn't stop himself from lifting each of your arms up and swinging them back and forth, the same way a child would to a life-size doll. With a childish giggle, he nuzzled his nose against your empty husk. He hummed at his own antics and straightened with that same sickening smile.
I'll get the car ready.
The ride was long, and the car was kept freezing cold.
But I guess I didn't mind because I was dead.
But you two made it eventually. Him and you, well, your corpse. He sat across from you and smiled as he drank his champagne slowly.
God, this is fun, isn't it? Just you and I. Not a camera in sight at this place. Huh.
He enjoyed his food, speaking with you, asking you questions. It was truly a one-sided conversation. The audacity! The audacity that all this is still going when I'm just a corpse. Just my ghost is in the back screaming, and I'm like, you gosh darn psycho! Ugh! I've known psychos less psycho than you. But he smiled happily, enjoying his time with you. Even if you were dead. Drinking the rest of the champagne, he tilted his head to you.
Oh, Espoir, you hardly touched your food.
He sat up, grabbing his coat and pulled it over his shoulders. Walking over to your side of the table, he leaned over to your ear and whispered as if you could ever hear him.
But it's not like you ever could,
He grinned, eyes pulsing maniacally. He wasn't delusional. Of course he knew you were dead.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Delusional him? No.
But he fully intended to make every moment that much more fun for himself.
You really are like a doll, Dove.
He giggled, eyes becoming half-lidded as his nerves calmed.
Come on, let's go home.
Ending 4 out of 4. I love you. To death. To death, bro.
Hey there, pre-recorded Esquire here, and may I have 30 seconds of your time? Want me to draw your OCs? Check out my Ko-fi page for art commissions as low as $20. Link in the description. Every week I post a Saturday update blog on both of my Patreons and now also my YouTube channel members. With behind-the-scenes stuff, upcoming games I want to play, life stuff, old lady stuff, and pictures of Daisy. Link in the description. Want to see the full uncensored versions of gameplays I can't show on this channel? Join my adult Patreon for the low price of $1 and being over the age of 18. And then I in the Do you yearn to wear merch of a super obscure free visual novel? Check out my TeePublic and Teespring t-shirt store. Descriptions are in link. Want to support my channel but you have no money? Hit the like button or subscribe. It's free. That's right, free. We're just giving it away. Check out my itch.io page. Play Picture Perfect Boyfriend. It's free. Link in the description.
All right. You. Okay. I mean, you know, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. As soon as he told us about how he was bullying Xander, we should have been like, I'm out. I don't need to see any more. What if we really get on his nerves? Because now I want to troll him. Lo-fi? Not really. Avon's face flickered for a moment before returning to normal. He didn't seem to like that answer. Well, I didn't seem to like being killed and then brought to dinner when I can't even eat the food. I bet it was delicious and expensive, but no. Is that the cemetery? Bingo. He looked back at me with a look of pride. You like it? Not really. It's a bit scary. I'm a little nervous. And also, that seems like a crazy kind of psychopath thing to do. You wouldn't happen to have had dead animals in your drawers when you were little, huh? Hee. Avon held back from rolling his eyes. Seriously? It's romantic. In a mysterious, spooky sort of way. Think about it. Peaceful, quiet, no crowds, just vibes. Alone. Yeah, with no witnesses. No amount of flirting could ever make this better. I think that's a big part of why it's scary. Ah! What? Are you scared the dead will crawl right out of the ground and eat you alive? They're coming to get you, Barbara. Avon jumped right in front of you with creepy-like fingers. You jumped slightly from his childish, teasing excuse of a jump scare. Avon snickered at your reaction as you settled back down. Why did he do that? You start singing Thriller. You start taking a step and saying, it's close to midnight. I'm getting out. I'm leaving, because I don't know what you're going to do after that. You felt tears prickle at your eyes. Avon takes notice and sighs with a roll of his eyes. He puts his arms up in surrender. Okay, fine. I'll stop. Is he upset with me? Well, you know what? I'm upset. I'm upset because you frickin' taxidermied me. You force a smile. Yeah, a great date idea. Just us and a bunch of dead people. I guess I'm gonna join them. Or maybe, if I tick him off, maybe I'm gonna join them a lot sooner than later. His face softened slightly, and he gave you a gentle smile. Don't worry, I'll make sure you have a good time. Wanna hold my hand? Make a sarcastic joke. I'm good. No sacrificial dagger, though, to go with the, vibe. Disappointed. No, he's got one of those. He's clearly got one of those. Avon cleared his throat with a tight smile, eyebrow twitching. Left it at home this time. Rookie mistake. He mumbled the last part under his breath. For a moment, you wonder if he really did have a sacrificial dagger. And here I thought I was being romanced by a proper spooky gentleman. You chuckled at your own joke, trying to lighten the mood. Avon sighed, rolling his eyes. He was getting tired of your sarcastic remarks. Well, get ready for more, lover boy. Well, sorry, it's not fancy enough. Not everyone gets exactly excited for candlelit rooftop dinners, you know. You frown at his condescending tone. I'm sorry, Avon, you have put me in troll mode. I was joking. You take a few steps away from him, something Avon takes notice of but doesn't comment on. Yeah, sure, I know. It just kinda sounded like you'd rather be anywhere else. I kinda would. You didn't mean to upset him, not like this at least, but now there's this weird edge to the air. The humor doesn't land like it usually does. Somewhere in the distance you hear the sharp caw of a crow.
making the cemetery suddenly feel colder than before.
We can go, if you want.
Yes, I would like to go. Let's go, he stated with an irritated edge to his voice. Oh, no, it's fine. Sorry, you fawned, trying to make the situation easier. You didn't want to make him more upset. You don't want to make him more upset. But I do. You two continued to walk along the gravel path, the gate behind you fading into the dark.
I'm not an occult, but I am a Satanist.
Like I said, that's fine. So you believe in believing in yourself. But I'm here to troll you because you killed me and took me out to dinner. I could say, oh no, you're a Satanist? Oh dear, what a red flag. But I think the knife would be twisted more if I went, well, that's boring. I mean, so quirky, yeah. Whatever you say, Shadow the Hedgehog. Ow, the edge. You mockingly dragged out the last word, completed with a set of imaginary jazz hands. Avon laughed. It was sharp, more like a scoff than one of amusement.
Cute. Real cute.
I can be a whole lot cuter if you let me. You done made me mad now. It was meant to be harmless. A joke. No, MC, it wasn't a joke. But there's a shift in his tone. Subtle and quick, but not completely lost. He looks at you, still smiling, but his eyes look like they're searching for something. You both fall silent as the air grows tighter, but it was like he was waiting for you to say the wrong thing. Again. Or, right. Whatever kept him interested. Which you definitely were not doing. No, this is exactly where I want to be. So he likes juice. What if I say I like energy drinks because he doesn't like them? Energy drinks. I live on the edge. You grab a can and raise it like golden treasure. If I'm going to hang out in a cemetery, might as well do it wired on some caffeine, huh? Avon laughs, both impressed and mildly horrified.
This late? That crap's gonna kill you. But hey, whatever rows your boat, right?
He watches you take a sip with mock awe as he grabs a can of juice.
If you start tweaking, though, I'm taking a photo.
Avon takes a long sip of his own drink, as do you. Ah, that hits the spot. You looked over the rest of the setup, eyeing the snacks laid out. Sour candy. I like the pain. You pick up one of the sour candies and toss it into your mouth. I cannot eat sour candy like I used to. I'm too old. Your jaw clenches immediately, and Avon watches with mischievous delight. Man, those are sour. It's good, though.
God, I love watching people suffer through those. I have no clue how people do it.
Avon laughed at your pain. As time passed, you ate snacks and spoke about various things. I'm not getting on his nerves enough. You work at a morgue? For how long? Avon hummed thoughtfully.
5 years. Would have started sooner, but I got caught up in some things after high school.
Yeah, a lot of things. The morgue doesn't bother you, or are you, like, the receptionist or something?
No, I do the full works. Embalming, cleaning, prepping, down to the nitty-gritty. Death doesn't really bother me.
You like death? You hesitated. Or your job. He giggled, quiet and low, leaning back on his elbows and turning his face away from yours.
Both.
Okay, that's kind of a weird thing to be into, not gonna lie. Foo. Avon's smile stayed, but the temperature dropped with it. His eyes locked on yours just a little too long.
Weird isn't always bad, Espoir. But I get it. Most people don't like looking too close at things that make them squirm. It's human nature.
He breathed out as if releasing tension.
Even if they see a bit of themselves in it.
You weren't exactly sure what he meant by that. Yeah. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile, but cautious. Yeah, I'm judging this time. I'm judging. What if I say, do you want to be normal? Yeah, do you want to be normal? Avon tilts his head, caught off guard, not by the question, but by how seriously you're asking it.
I used to. When I was younger, I was so desperate back then.
So you gave up? Avon laughed silently.
Maybe. It was easier that way. But hey, I'm good at hiding it.
Alright, so now I'm gonna say, after talking about his friends, and his shenanigans, and his escapades, what the heck is wrong with you? What the actual heck is wrong with you? You recoil, disgust written all over your face. You killed a cat and thought that was okay? His smile falters, brow twitching as his eyes narrow just slightly.
It was dying anyway. You don't know the full story.
But you fluffing let Xander around those people. Yeah, that poor guy, is he okay? And then you have the nerve to talk about him like some toy? Yeah, Buttercup? His jaw clenches as he sat up.
And the music gets a lot scarier.
He laughs, short, sharp, and joyless.
Xander wanted to be there. He could have always said no, Espoir.
Avon rolled his eyes dismissively. Except he couldn't. It sounds like you didn't give him a choice. You've never given him a choice. Avon goes to speak, but you're quicker, if only by a second. And don't get me started on the crap with West. He could have been fine, but you just... He cuts in, voice suddenly louder, tone defensive.
I just what, huh? West made his own choices. I didn't hold a gun to his head.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did. Both me and Espoir in the game say in unison. And who knows if your connection with Renee is even real? Avon's eyes stare daggers into yours. If looks could truly kill, you'd be as dead as the bodies beneath the soil by now. Your tone evens, steady. No, dig into him. He's gonna stab you either way. Look, I don't care what you've been through. There's just no excuse. No better that you're all so casual about it. You glanced away, bringing your knees into your body. His mouth opens, but nothing comes out. He stares at you, as if he's seeing you differently now.
Well, why you pulling me? I'm right.
He whispers under his breath with a snarl. What was that? Oh, you want to call me the C word? Buttercup? Listen, I could call you a whole lot of things. The English dictionary is very vast. I'll start learning some Spanish, so I call you some stuff in that too. Quickly, your head snapped back to meet his gaze. Do I have to take off this wig? Do I have to take off these earrings, sir? What?
You think you're better than me? Huh, Espoir?
Well, I didn't kill a cat or traumatize my friends. You stared at him in disbelief, weighing your words. Suddenly, this felt less like an argument, and more like your life was in danger. This feels like a WWE bell is gonna ring, and then I'm gonna throw fisticuffs with this man. I will wrestle him to the ground, I will elbow his face, and then we'll make out. What? You decided to take things more easy. This was a date, after all, and you didn't want your name ending up on some crappy true crime podcast. I didn't say that. That's not... No, I get you had to make cash. Went through some crap. I get that. But don't we all? Avon let out a breath from his nose, bitterly. Are you mad, bro? You mad? What you mad for? I'm just saying the truth. Why you booing me? I'm right. For a moment, you could have sworn you saw the black rings within his eyes contract. It's just... I don't know. You need help, Avon. Both me and Espoir in the game, and probably every one of you watching say in unison. There was a pause of silence, a long one. He turns his face away from you, expression unreadable at first. That was until his jaw tightens, his gaze drops to the floor, cold and calculating. When he looks up again, it's not at you, it's through you, like something behind his eyes clicked.
So that's what you think?
Then he smiles. Me in the game? Why aren't you miles and miles away from this cemetery right now? He doesn't say another word, just stares, breathing slow, eyes sharp, like he was thinking, plotting. As the breeze picked up, you shivered slightly. Avon glanced at you and sighed. Rolling his neck, he looked back at you.
What about you, Espoir? How's your family and friends?
Not in this tri-state area. They are very, very far away. In fact, I don't even know them. Family, friends? I mean, no, I have lots of people who would notice if I went missing.
You ever want to disappear?
You stared in momentary shock.
What kind of question is that? No, dude, what the fluff?
He smiled at your defensiveness. It seemed to have amused him. That smile alone made you uncomfortable, and he seems to have noticed.
Come on now, it was a joke. A light one at that. Nothing more.
Dude doesn't share his emo poetry with you, and then talk about having some soup on the side, and then makes it a joke. That is not something you joke about.
No need to get so catty.
Yeah, but who asks that on a date? That's some serial killer stuff. I want to check your cabinets at home.
He looked away, thoughtfully, a smile still on his face.
Maybe.
He simply stared off into the rain, and back at you. Suddenly his face fell, completely unreadable, though there was a faint edge of irritation in the way his jaw tightened. He forced out a sigh with a smile that didn't reach his eyes.
You know, I've been trying this whole time, right?
He sucked his teeth, thinking.
But it just feels like you're not. Or maybe you could never really get me.
So you'll let me go, right? No stabbing in the back, literally.
He froze, caught off guard by the sudden shift in attitude.
Like you hate me or something. You get it? Everything I say you shut down or twist or just...
He clicked his tongue, letting out a dry, humorless laugh.
We just have different opinions on things. Nothing wrong with that.
You wondered why he was so upset. Oh, you mad, bro? You mad? Did I upset you? Truthfully, the date had already gone sour. You just wanted it to end, to go home and maybe block his number the second you walked through the door.
Maybe also call the police? Maybe call your family and tell them your exact location? Put some trackers on your body?
Desperation had dragged you into this mess, and now you wished you'd left earlier. He smiled tightly at you.
Yeah, they say opposites attract, don't they?
From the corner of your eye, you caught something glinting in the moonlight. Now, Buttercup, Avi, that wouldn't happen to be a knife, would it? Your chest tightened. What was that?
Too bad I'm not the kind of people they're talking about.
Ah! Catching a glimpse of the glint, you instinctively stumbled back as it made its way towards you. Ah! Avon's face turned, irritated, no, angry, as the rings in his eyes pulsed rapidly. You glanced down at what he was holding, recognizing it as a long switchblade. Oh, we're fighting now. Okay, we're doing this now. Take off the wig. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look pretty when I beat you down. What the fun? Your heart hammered rapidly in your chest, breath becoming uneven and jagged. What the fluff is going on? Like, hey, I know the date went badly, but you don't gotta kill me over it. Ah! Avon's chest rose and fell with adrenaline as his once angry face twisted into a manic smile. Waiting no longer, he lunged at you, making you roll out of the way and onto the rough stone pavement.
Dang it!
Hearing Avon's sharp snarl of frustration, you stumbled to your feet and bolted outside of the mausoleum. Why didn't you do that hours ago? You ran through the maze of trees and tombstones, your breath ragged as the cemetery swallowed you whole. Heavy, rapid footsteps pounded after you, closing the gap.
Oh, you really think you can run from me?
Yes, I'm very fast when I'm determined.
His voice was low, but loud. You tried desperately not to slip, every muscle screaming at you to keep moving. Your mind spun with 1,000 thoughts, each one sharper than the last. Just like, look at all, your mind should be thinking of which one of these rocks can I pick up and bash him with. You shouldn't have gone on a date with a guy you barely knew, especially not at night. You should have told at least someone where you were going, but no. Now the only thing you wanted was to curl up into a hole and cry. Instead, you pushed your body forward, forcing your way through the unfamiliar graveyard in a blind attempt to find the exit. You thought you remembered where it was, but even if you made it out, then what? He had a car. You didn't. You couldn't outrun him all the way back to town, could you? Not with that attitude. The city wasn't far, not really. You were in the middle of Denver, for fluff's sake, but the nearest major buildings were half a mile away, their glowing windows hidden by distance. Only half a mile? Man, that's nothing. I used to walk 2 miles to work, up and down the snow, uphill. Smaller shops, side streets, parks, they had to be closer. If you were lucky, you might stumble into someone, anyone. But was it too late? Would anyone even be out at this hour? Ah!
Go on. Keep running, Espoir. I hope you know I'll find you, like I always do.
No, you won't, like he always does? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What did he mean? He did this to other people?
It's actually cute how desperate you are.
His voice swung into a high giggle, voice rasping between breaths.
You're pathetic.
He spoke like it was all a game to him, and maybe it was. He sounded way too happy for it not to be, and the way he smiled at you before you ran sent shivers down your spine. You thought fast, finally approaching the exit. Where would you go? You couldn't just run down the roads. You had to go where he couldn't see you. The trees. You could go through the trees. I don't think that's gonna end up there. I don't think that's gonna... I mean, yeah, it's a good idea. I probably would do the same if I was panicking, but I have a feeling that that's not gonna work. You made a sharp turn as you exited, stunning Avon for a second as he looked around for where you could have gone. This gave you time to sneak into the trees that surrounded the cemetery and make way towards the city. You ran through, hoping that the rain would filter your footsteps.
I know you're somewhere in here, Espoir.
He laughed with glee as you heard the crunch of his own feet from the distance.
Come on, don't hide.
You stopped running and stood, paralyzed in fear. Every nerve in your body screamed to turn around just to see how far he was, but you forced your eyes forward, scared that the single action alone would make all of your efforts go to waste. So you kept going, but slowly. You made slow footsteps, shoes crunching between twigs and leaves, towards what sounded like a busy street. You made good progress, too, hope filling your chest as you inched closer and closer to safety. Occasionally, Avon would taunt you, his mere presence making you feel dizzy. You just wished it was over. The street wasn't too far now, just 3 yards or so away, and... Oh man, I fell. At the very last moment, I just fell. You writhed in pain as you fell into a drop near what looked like a small pond and a crashed trunk. You fell on a branch and clutched your back in pain as you cried out, the stream of water failing miserably at muffling your sounds of pain. Gosh, doodles! You wondered if Avon heard you, but you didn't hear anything. Hopefully not. Assume that he did. You lay there for a moment, taking in your surroundings, catching a glimpse of a path that led upward to the busy street just ahead. All you had to do was get up and get to the road. It was so close now. Safety was so close now. Trying to stand, you winced in pain, your ankle throbbing from your fall. Because of course it did. But you had to push through. You had to. Wobbling in pain towards the path, you heard a shift behind you. Before you even had the chance to look, you were quickly tripped and your ankle was stomped on as you fell. Listen, Buster! Rolling onto your back as you cried, you saw Avon loom above you. He smiled as he breathed heavily and trapped you below him, placing both legs on either side of you. Oh, Avon, I didn't know this was this kind of chase. He giggled in delight, quick and breathy, as he took in the horrified expression on your face.
Oh, come on. Running away from a date? That's very not nice, Dove.
Leaning down to meet your nose with his, he watched closely as tears streamed down your face, amused at your pathetic attempt to wriggle away. Blade in hand, he grabbed both your wrists and held you in place. "What are you going to do with that knife?" said someone who was promptly stabbed. Let me go! Somebody! Please! He He feigned a sympathetic look before taking his tongue and dragging it slowly along your tear-stained cheek. You whimpered at this feeling, sick to your stomach, before scrambling out from his grip. You somehow managed to flip onto your stomach, trying desperately to crawl away, but it was no use. Avon simply laughed and drove his blade into your calf. Ow! Crying out at the sudden searing pain, you instinctively tried to hold your leg, but were quickly reminded of the circumstances. So you kept crawling, praying to any god that was out there. Please, God, anyone, help me! Sobek, Athena, Mary, Amaterasu! You whimpered out as you pulled yourself to the path. Avon simply trailed behind you, slowly before yanking the blade out of your calf. I was still in there! And pinning you to the ground once more. Rude! He yanked your head back quickly by your hair. I have no hair in this picture. Just enough so that you could look him in the eye. There was an uncanny number of rings in his eyes, pulsing in and out at rapid speeds.
There is no god here, silly thing.
Avon's voice dragged somewhere between a laugh and a snarl, before suddenly cutting. He closed the distance between you and whispered against your ear while pressing his bloody blade against your neck.
But you sure did make this game exciting for me, didn't you, Duff?
He smiled.
But playtime is over.
The expression on his handsome face dropped before dragging his knife sharply against your neck.
Rude!
Blood spilled out in thick streams before you even got to say a word. Man, I didn't even get to blurt out one, "You mad, bro?" The red liquid choking your airways as you tried to grasp desperately at the pain as if it would change a thing. He flipped you over as he spat at you through gritted teeth.
I hate you, you know.
He smiled thinly as his eyes bore into yours.
But I'll like you a lot more once you're dead and silent, where you can't say a thing, you morally superior fluff.
How dare you call me a morally superior fluff? You're the crazy one. Your consciousness faded in and out as you continued to bleed from your neck, sputtering and choking beneath him.
That's right. Bleed out, you biscuit.
Oh, you mad? You mad? Did I make you mad? Did I rustle your jimmies? Oh, did I upset you? Ending 204. I hate you to death. Do all of these endings end into death? What if I try to be as neutral as possible? What is that ending gonna be? I bored him to death? Play it cool and keep walking. Don't take his hand. Don't make a sarcastic joke. Just stone-faced. Nah, I'm good. Just watch my back in case I get ambushed by zombies, or raccoons, or worse, zombie raccoons. Avon laughs at your corny joke.
Bold of you to assume I wouldn't join the raccoons.
Looking at him, you smiled. Cute. Now that you say that, you'd probably be their leader. Avon chuckles, shaking his head with a look of amused confusion. You walk side by side, a bit of distance between you, but the air's lighter now. He didn't push. You could tell he wanted to say something else as his hand twitched, but he just smiled and stayed close enough you could still feel his presence. You know what? I don't need any of this juice or soda or energy drink. We got water. Water. Gotta stay hydrated. You reach over and grab a bottle of water, twisting the cap. Can't fall into a grave from dehydration, right? Avon smirks and lifts his own water bottle in mock toast.
Respect. Most people forget how fire water is.
I like chips. Safe and salty. Yummy, too. You go for the chips, popping a plain one in first. Avon watches you chew, unimpressed, but amused.
Typical pick.
He laughs at your basic choice.
Just don't choke. I don't feel like doing CPR. Not that I would anyway.
What's that supposed to mean? You mean you wouldn't pretend to put your lips upon mine? So about him loving his job and loving death because it's all cool and stuff, that's honestly fascinating. Not many people can handle death so closely. Avon tilted his head, clearly pleased.
Yeah. Most people look away, pretend it doesn't exist.
He let out a short, awkward laugh, but it wasn't nervous. It was giddy, like something warm had uncoiled in his chest. Am I starting to get him to like me too much?
But I think when you can face it, when you can understand it, it stops being scary. Disgusting, even. Most people change the subject, but you didn't.
He shifted, as if trying to sit still was suddenly harder than it should have been. Am I going to end up as a corpse, going out to dinner in a fancy restaurant again? I'm trying to turn normal you to death.
I think there's something beautiful about it. The body. What's left of us after. I mean, not everyone gets it.
Wait, so does that mean he liked us more as a corpse? He looked at you for a little too long, eyes flicking briefly down your face, your neck, and then back up. He shifts again, fingers nervously tapping against the rim of a nearby drink can. His eyes trail down, like he's trying to contain something.
It's weird, right? I know it is. God, sorry, that's probably a lot.
He lets out a sharp breath and laughs again, flustered, but clearly enjoying the adrenaline of sharing this with you. Aww.
But you asked, and you don't look grossed out.
He gave you a gentle smile.
So I figured maybe I could be honest.
He looks down at his bitten and jagged fingernails. There's a faint redness beneath the cuticles. You realize he's been scratching at his palm throughout the conversation. Now I'd be like, oh, he's got a nervous skin tick, but no, you stabbed me in the back, and you made me your corpse bride, and then you chased me down and called me the C word, sir.
I don't get to talk like this with people, not without them pulling away.
He looks back up, and the smile he gives you is a little too hopeful, a little too hungry. Oh no.
But not you, right?
He tilts his head at you, curiosity in his eyes, but it's not really a question, it's a test. I'm still trying to be neutral, so no, not at all, it's fine. You spoke softly. No, not at all. You don't flinch. In fact, something in you stirs, whether it's curiosity or something deeper. You're not sure. You leaned in, smirking slightly. You make it sound almost poetic. Avon blinks, surprised for a second, then grins, wide, relieved, like he's finally found someone who sees it.
God, you actually get it.
I think I'm on the path to becoming a corpse bride. His hand finds yours. It's cold but steady, and the way he looks at you now, it's like his walls are slowly coming down. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile, but cautious. When he finishes talking about his friends, what if I go, interesting, not exactly surprising, though. He tilts his head slightly, the corner of his mouth twitching.
You say that like you figured me out.
You crossed your arms slowly, posture calm, controlled. He was like a two-faced rabbit animal, if you will. Is this the, analytical ending? He seemed kind, and maybe, at this point, he changed. His smile didn't reach his eyes, however. He was so kind at the party, and possibly, just possibly, all of that was behind him now. But you weren't too sure. Some people change.
Maybe I did. That's what they say, after all, right?
Well, you were pretty nice at the party. He hums, quietly agreeing.
I put on my best behavior that night. Glad you noticed.
Yeah, I get it. All people need a pack. You didn't want to push the wrong buttons. You breathed, trying to release tension. He watches you breathe like he's logging it away, amused. It's how you survive, isn't it? But you know people change, always have a reason, and you seem like you've changed. That counts for something. I mean, the guy at the party couldn't have possibly been the same guy you're talking about now, right? Yeah, the guy who, killed a kitten and bullied his friend into insanity. His face goes still. Too still.
We all have some skeletons to hide, but what matters is where we go from there, I guess.
He smiles again as he watches you for your response. Right. But as his eyes drift away from you, the smile fades entirely. His claw jenses. His jaw clenches, Just barely, and his gaze settles on nothing in particular, unfocused, quiet, like he's thinking. As the breeze picked up, you shivered slightly. Avon glanced at you and sighed. Rolling his neck, he looked back at you.
What about you, Espoir? How's your family and friends?
Boring, neutral, but in touch. To his, thinly veiled question about suicide, I mean, weird question, that's for sure, but sometimes. Not in a literal sense, of course, more like just taking a break from everything. A restart. I think we all need that now and then. Avon looked in shock momentarily, but then smiled.
You're quite thoughtful, huh?
You laughed, mainly at his observation. I am? I guess it was a bit deep, huh? Avon stopped you with a small shake of his head.
No, not at all. I'm actually glad you thought about it. Shows character.
You looked at him, not sure if that said character was a good thing or not. Avon rolled his eyes.
It's a good thing. I like it. People that show something other than surface level, that is.
You thought for a moment. I get you. People can just kind of see one side of the coin without bothering to see the other. Avon smiled. It seemed genuine. More genuine than he smiled throughout this entire date. He simply stared off into the rain, and back at you. When he looked back at you, he gave you a gentle smile, but it slowly fell. You two waited out the heavy rain, patiently, eventually sitting against the wall in your own spaces. He scrolled through his phone, as did you, just enjoying each other's company as the wait passed. And soon it did, as the rain turned into gentle sprinkles. He checked his phone for the time and sighed.
It's getting late, huh? I guess I should drive you back home.
Wait, are we actually getting driven back home? You looked up at him. Crap, you're right. Avon stood and brushed his clothes off and nodded his head for you to follow him back towards the pathway to the entrance of the cemetery. What about the rest of the stuff? Avon glanced over his shoulder and shook his head.
I'll come clean it up later on. Let's just worry about getting you home for now.
You nodded in agreement and followed him down the path back to the entryway of the cemetery. What, you're not chasing me out? You're not stabbing me in the back? Finally, back at his car, he opened his door and got in. It was like he was lost in thought. You took it as a sign to get in as well, and finally settled in with a sigh. You were glad the rain stopped so soon. The date was getting weirder and weirder by the second. As you relaxed, he took out another thing, a long switchblade, and placed it on the control panel before starting up the car. Did you always have that? That's for beating up any werewolves or zombies that would try to disturb our date, right? Right? He clicked his seatbelt, looking at the switchblade, then at you.
Yeah, keep it on me in case anything bad happens.
Making his way out of the parking lot, he didn't really talk for the rest of the ride. He was just thinking. His face looked like it carried regret, like lost opportunity, but he was still polite and spoke occasionally for the sake of things not being awkward. Cute. You two arrived at your place, and he got out of the car to watch you walk in. Thanks for the date, and driving me home.
Yeah, of course. Rain was a killer, though.
You glanced down at your rain-dampened clothes. A little rain never killed anybody.
I guess you're right. Well, tonight was nice, Espoir. I'll let you get inside and get settled.
And then you'll stab me? You smiled and nodded, turning on your heel and walking inside your place. After that, you two barely talked, just here and there, but it never went any further than that, and neither did the connection. Even when you two did see each other in person, it felt as if you were looking at the perfect mask. You did push one day, however, asking what was wrong. But when you did, he had nothing more to say other than a small laugh and,
Dunno. You're just kind of boring sometimes, you know?
And so you left it at that.
Yes! 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 Ha 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 ha! Ending one. You bore me to death. Ha 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 ha! I love that that's the ending. I love that that's what it's called. Okay. I don't know if this will lead to an ending, but what if I absolutely drink the Kool-Aid? What if I absolutely just, guzzle down everything he's thrown at me? What if I am his perfect date? Am I still gonna end up, am I still gonna end up across from him dead at a dinner table? Cemetery? Heck yeah, I like how you think, buddy. Pew, 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 pew. Avon giggled, proud of his choice.
I like your energy. I think it's romantic in a mysterious, spooky kind of way. Think about it. Peaceful, quiet, no crowds, just vibes. Alone.
Is he flirting with triple question marks? He's flirting! Okay. I avert my eyes, feeling heat rise up to my cheeks. I grew a bashful smile. I change my mind when you say it like that. He snickered, taking notice of your flushed face.
Oh, you don't mean that.
You giggled. Yeah, great idea. Just us and a bunch of dead people. And tons of shenanigans. So last time, after he told me the long story about his friends and all the messed up stuff he's done in his life, I said, you intrigue me, but what if I say, I like that. You're pretty whack-a-dude. You're pretty actually crazy, but you're still cute, though. I like that. It's actually kind of... You trailed off, thinking for a moment. Attractive, in a way. Your voice was low, almost a whisper, like you were afraid to admit it out loud. I mean, okay, not the cat thing. That's pretty fluffin' insane, dude. But the rest of it, that chaos, your control, the way people listen to you, like cult leader. I don't know, it's messed up, sure, but you tilt your head, smiling just slightly. I don't know why I'm smiling. You let out a nervous little laugh, cheeks flushing as you shift in place, your fingers curling slightly into your sleeves. You just said some really disturbing stuff, and here I am, heart racing like I've got a crush or something. Am I going to be the crazy one in this ending? Your voice dropped, half disturbed, half honest, as you looked away. God, that's messed up, isn't it? Avon stared at you with an unwavering smile, giving you a once-over.
Yeah, it is.
Avon leaned in closer to you. Oh no! One of his hands lifted, just slightly, like he was deciding if he should touch you or not. His eyes flicked to your lips, then back up as he smiled.
I like you, Espoir. You're interesting.
Finally pressing his hand into the soft curve of your cheek, he felt the slight tremble of your body through his arm. It amused him, his lips pulling into a tighter smile and voice dripping into a soft hum.
You're so scared. Nervous.
His hand finally settled gently at the side of your neck, thumb brushing just under your jaw, pulling your gaze back into his.
And yet, you're drawn in.
His smile widened. You could have sworn you saw hearts forming in his eyes.
I'm a bad, bad man.
I know, he breathed for a moment.
But I think you like that, don't you, Espoir?
The heat on your face rose as you found yourself mere inches away from his breath brushing your lips. Instinctively pulling away, you laughed frantically. Avon chuckled at your reaction and settled back under the blanket. Oh no, oh no. What if I say, about my family and friends? Neither. I've got people, but I wouldn't call it good. Avon looks at you for a long moment. Something in his expression shifts, like piqued interest. My friends, they were never really my friends. They used me pretty often. Kinda talked behind my back. Just toxic, overall. Family isn't any better either. They never really gave me any grace. Every small mistake was like 1,000 sins in their eyes. Living with that was... You trailed off. He spoke softly.
That's awful, really.
He leans in just slightly, his hand brushing against your knee and then to your face.
I can't imagine why anyone would put you through that. You just seem so genuine, you know?
His gaze lingers, then drops briefly to your lips before looking away.
You shouldn't have to go through that stuff alone. You should have a supportive family, a friend that genuinely cares for you.
He smiles warmly, brows tying together softly.
I could always be that for you, you know? Or more, if you're into that. I mean, this is a date, isn't it?
You laugh softly, not quite expecting the warmth rising in your chest. Maybe, yeah. I'd kinda like to see where this leads. Avon's eyes gleam, pleased, not surprised, but pleased. He pulls away but keeps his distance.
Of course, even if no one is there for you, I will. Promise.
He shifts a bit closer, the edge of his thigh now pressed to yours. I think I'd like that. His hand, still resting on your knee, moves in slow, idle circles. He spoke quietly, as if the dead could hear him, smiling gently.
Good. I was hoping you'd say that. I'd always keep you safe.
In a morgue? In below-zero weather? Dang it! Not again! So in trying to get the ending 3 out of 4, whatever that is, after he explains why he loves death and working in the mortuary, that's a lot. That's a lot, Pookums. That's weird, that's a lot. That's a lot, Avon. You don't recoil, but your mind races. There's something disturbing beneath his words, but also a vulnerability, a fracture. You spoke gently. Thanks for being honest with me, though. Avon watches you carefully, like he's waiting for a shift in your tone that never comes.
You aren't running.
He leans back again, but the tension in his hands lingers, like he's still trying to figure out if he liked your response or not. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile, but cautious. You glance at him, watching the way he stares ahead, expression unreadable now. He simply stared off into the rain, and back at you. When he looked back at you, he gave you a gentle smile. It was the kind of smile that could melt someone's heart, and it did. Yours fluttered as you two sat together under the rough patter of rain. He rested your head gently against his chest. The steady rhythm of his heartbeat filled your ears as a yawn slipped out. The limbs on your body had grown heavy, rubbing your eyes. Your thoughts moved slower and slower. Oh, you hadn't realized just how tired you were after such a long conversation. Avon's eyes softened as he shifted, lowering you both against the stone floor of the mausoleum, letting you rest against him. Oh. He sighed in thought, glancing down as your eyelids grew heavy.
It's fine to nap. I'll wake you up once the rain clears, so don't worry about it, okay?
You nodded, tiredly, and finally allowed sleep to take you. As you slept, Avon muttered to himself in thought.
I like you. Kinda. In a weird way, I guess I can keep you around, see what you're about.
Oh, is the strategy to be interesting but not too interesting? He laughed, quietly to himself.
Congratulations to you, I guess, huh? Interesting enough to keep around. At least you weren't boring.
He leaned his head back against the cold stone wall, eyes drifting shut for a moment.
You really are lucky, you know, Espoir. You just don't know.
Oh, I know. We know. We know. Time passed. When you stirred awake, Avon was gently shaking your shoulder. Your eyes fluttered open. Outside the mausoleum, the rain had slowed to a drizzle.
Sleep well, Dove?
You yawned, stretching as you sat up. Yeah, I guess the conversation in the rain really put me to sleep. It's not that you're boring or anything. Your voice is just soothing. Sorry about that. Avon chuckled, offering you his hand to help you up.
All good.
He pulled out his phone, checked the time, and sighed.
It's getting pretty late, huh? Guess I should drive you back home.
He guided you by the hand back towards the soaked picnic spot, collecting a few snacks and handing them to you. We actually cleaned up our mess?
For the ride.
Wait, what about the rest of the stuff? Avon glanced over his shoulder and shook his head with a smile.
I'll come clean it up later. Let's just worry about getting you home for now, okay?
You nodded, following him down the path to the entryway of the cemetery. Back at his car, he stashed the snacks, then opened your door for you. As you settled inside with a sigh, he slipped into the driver's seat. Before starting the car, he pulled out a long switchblade and placed it casually on the control panel. "Can't you put that back in your pocket, sir?" Your eyes widened in shock slightly at the sight of the blade. Did you always have that? He buckled his seatbelt, glancing between the knife and you.
Yeah. Keep it on me in case anything bad happens. Out of habit, really."
You laughed nervously, trying to poke fun as he started the car. "What, did you think I was some serial killer here to take your organs or something? You don't know that." Avon gave you a once-over and let out a short laugh as he pulled out of the lot.
"You? Not in a million years."
"You don't know me, Avon. You don't know me." You giggled as the car rolled down the empty streets toward your house. The ride was full of chatter and jokes as Avon held your free hand in his, rubbing small circles on your hand with his thumb. "Oh, did everything go well?" Before long, you stood outside your place. Avon got out too, grabbing his jacket and leaning against his car to watch as you walked up to your door. "Thanks for the date, and for driving me home." Avon grinned playfully, rolling his eyes.
Of course. Sorry you got wet, though."
You glanced down at your damp clothes and shrugged. "A little rain never hurt anybody? Yeah, but a lot can kill you."
"I guess you're right. Well, tonight was nice, Espoir. I'll let you get inside and settled."
You nodded with a smile, turning on your heel, but before you could step away, his hand caught your wrist gently, turning you back around. Before you could ask what was wrong, he leant in and pressed a small kiss on your cheekbone before pulling away with a fond smile.
"Thanks for the date tonight. Have a good night, Dove."
"Oh," you stammered, cheeks hot. You too." Blushing, you watched him head back towards his car, but before getting in, he glanced back at you with a small grin.
"Until next time?"
You smiled and nodded quickly. "Yeah." He waved you off, and you slipped inside, shutting the door behind you. You smiled to yourself. The date wasn't half bad. A little creepy, sure, but not half bad. Ending 3 of 4. Until next time. Oh, that's so sweet. It almost makes me forget about how you stabbed me in the back, you took my cadaver out to dinner, you hunted me down through the forest. Almost makes me forget about all that. To be continued. Well, that was Date at the Cemetery, and all in all, it was pretty nice. You know, except the aforementioned getting stabbed and chased down and brought to dinner. Well, get your body brought to dinner. Avon definitely has more than a few screws loose. He's missing the whole toolkit. I don't usually see this kind of actually crazy in yanderes, and it's kind of refreshing to see a yandere that another yandere I would actually be afraid of. But I would love to know what you think about Avon in the comments. Did he go too far? Is he too crazy? Or, is he still a hear me out? I don't know, he does have a great smile and he looks good in those piercings. And hey, if you would like to watch me play more amazing visual novels with questionable love interests, feel free to peruse around my channel, and don't forget to like or subscribe or interact in any way that's comfortable for you, because not only does that really, really help out my channel, it also brings us closer to 100,000 subscribers. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.